Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. And today I have with me Michelle Vandepas, author of The Purpose, the Alignment Guide. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm snowed in. I got 2 feet of snow here in Colorado. So it's wonderful to be able to work from home.
Yes. Well, as a Chicago native, for the last 51 years, I definitely know about that snow. Even
Yeah,
though I haven't had the snow that my parents talk about, I think it was from 1960 something that they talk about quite frequently. I don't think I've had one of those.
yeah. Well, this is quite the storm, but we knew it was coming. Back in the 80s, we didn't know they were coming and we get stuck. But so I relate to your parents. But yeah, it's fine. I'm here. I'm working. I'm here podcasting with you. So how bad is it?
Right, right. So I want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey. When I put out the call, first of all, let me just back up. When I had this vision came to me as I was thinking about what was I going to do in 2024 as it relates to my 30-minute growth video podcast. And then one night it came to me. You should interview other authors. Like I love to read. Reading is my happy place. It's where I can block out all the noise of life and I can walk away having learned something. Sometimes I'm crying. I'm always highlighting and writing in the book because I want to, when I'm done reading the book, I usually will take parts from the book and put it into something else as a constant reminder of my journey, my growth. And so I'm just so honored to have you here and what you've done with the alignment guide. At 51, I think that I'm still trying to figure out what my purpose is, bring things into alignment. And it's not something, as you mentioned in the book talks about 28 days, but it's more than just 28 days, right? It's a lifetime of getting into alignment. So tell us about you, your background. I know that you are an author and a publisher. So tell us about all things Michelle.
Yeah, well, thank you. So I've been doing marketing and business consulting really my whole life in various different forms, working with people and especially small businesses. And what I noticed is that when we're out of alignment with who we are and what we're here to do in the world, it's really difficult to market. It's really difficult to promote your small business, right? And when you're in alignment, when you know who you are, when you know your strengths and you own them, and you don't shy away from what you're here to do, then things unfold for you. It's easier to market your small business. I've been in publishing about 25 years. I've published thousands of books with all kinds of authors. Um, and often when an author comes to me, they'll say, I have an idea. I know what I want to do. I have an idea. I want to write this, but I'm not exactly sure how to get it down on paper or if this part should go in the book or right or how to outline it. And so I always come back to purpose. Whether you're writing a book for your business, whether you're writing a memoir, whether you're writing a book for fun, you've got to come back to what's your purpose and why are you writing the book? Who is the book for? Be in alignment so that when the book does get published, there's a market for it, right? And so I wrote this book to help my clients, to help myself, to help everybody think about these things. And it's not about going out there for your purpose. It's about going within and aligning with it, but also uncovering it and allowing yourself to become more and more um, appreciative of your own gifts because sometimes we poo-poo them or we say, oh, I'm not good enough, or that's not for me, or I can't do that. But we all have gifts inside that we just need to shine.
Oh my gosh. I just want you to know that you were like almost bringing me to tears. And part of it is because I need to get a good cry out. And I'm not afraid to cry, right? I believe that tears helps shed what's holding you back. But I've been on this journey for the last 2 years where I am being comfortable, being uncomfortable about my purpose.
Oh, nice.
What has happened is there have been some situations, some people that have tried to take me away from my purpose
Mm.
by either verbal comments or their actions. And my husband always says, in whatever you do, stand 10 toes down. And recently, a situation let's say I was involved in, tried to make me forget my purpose. But in the moment, all of the work that I've been doing, the learning and the growing, helped me stay grounded in the situation. And so I was almost brought to tears and may cry before our 30 minutes is up. That when you are walking in your purpose, accepting your purpose, it's not going to be pretty. There are going to be some things and situations that come to try to knock you down. And when you've done the work, they come and you dodge whatever they try to throw at you because you're still standing firm on who you are designed to be. You know your purpose.
Yeah. You know your purpose. I love that.
So I know you wrote the book for the individuals that you were working with, but how did you come up with the concept? And don't give away all the things because we need them to buy their own copy of the book.
Thank you.
So we don't want to talk about everything that's in the book, but why
Well,
did you need to
yeah, yeah, I draw on tools. So here's the thing. And some of them are very esoteric tools. I talk about, and I'll mention some things. I talk about astrology. I talk about the Enneagram. I talk about different tools, numerology, because I don't think there's only one way for us to get the information we need. Now, if you're a religious person or a spiritual person, go down that route. I don't believe that doesn't mean you can't read other things or take into account other guideposts that help you lead the way there, right? So I'm not saying, oh, this is the only way. I'm saying whatever information comes to you, evaluate it and see if that is a way for you to help guide your life or to help give you some more information, just more information. So I use a lot of different tools. I would say with my clients today, the biggest tool I use is journaling and walking. Those are the two things, journaling and walking. So if you can keep your head, your mind clear through meditation, walking, yoga, any of those kinds of things, and if you can mind dump through journaling, you will continue to get rid of all that clutter so that you can stay more grounded. And as you said, that helps you stay in purpose. I also, since COVID, because I wrote this before COVID, since COVID, and since all the divisiveness in our country and just all the things, like we call it COVID, but so many things happened in those 2 years, right? Um, I think it helps us be the adult in the room and not be quite so reactive. And I think that's what you were talking about. When we're in alignment with who we are, we can take a breath. We can say, okay, this person's really triggered. This person's being really reactive. Um, and we don't have to respond in kind. We can just take a breath and say, okay, I don't want to engage. I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. I have a focus in my life. I got to just take myself out of the situation. It has become lonelier in the last few years for most of us, right? and maybe for good reason. I hate to say it, but it's crazy out there in the world. And so the more we can be aligned with ourselves in purpose, in groundedness, as you said, all the things, then we can go do what we're here to do. I think I went down a rabbit hole there. I'm not sure you asked me that question, but that's
Well,
how
so
it feels.
the one thing I love about these conversations is that I don't hold a pre-meeting with authors. We
No, we did not pre-meet.
we literally get on and have an authentic conversation. So I want to share with you that we're recording this in March, and yesterday I'm doing this series on social media where it's 31 days of transitioning. And on the 14th day, my topic was on reflection through journaling. And as I presented the process to my audience, I did the process myself, and I planned this out before it even happened. And it just so happens on the 12th, I experienced a situation where if I had not walking in my purpose, had not been preparing myself, been putting these seeds in the ground, I would have reacted a different way.
Yeah.
And I did not react the way old Lisa would have reacted. And that's because I am becoming in alignment with my purpose. And I know the higher you climb, the more um, people and situations are going to come to attack you. And so you have to be focused and walking in your purpose as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, because you don't know what's going to come of that day, right? The past is the past. But the future, you got to keep your mind and your heart and your spirit in alignment with your purpose, because the things can and will happen. And what I realize for me, they're watching. They're watching how you react in situations, which will help them determine where they can put you next. But it also helps me figure out where I don't want to be next. What doesn't align with my purpose?
Yeah.
Who doesn't align with my purpose?
Right. Yeah.
So, as you were walking this journey, you have it organized by weeks, right? And you're talking about the different tools. And one of my favorite parts is the energy of the day.
Yes.
The energy could be all wrong. Tell us a little bit about the significance of the energy of the day.
Well, I think one of the things, and we poo-poo it, but our ancestors planted by the stars and, followed the North Star and followed their way to Jesus and all these things, right?
They
So
didn't
we
have
can't,
GPS.
right? So we can't, poo-poo the energy. The tides come and go with the moon. And so I like to sort of lean into that little bit. We all wake up some days and just go, it's going to be a great day, or man, it just feels off today, right? And so I think we should lean into that and just acknowledge that there are forces bigger than us. And the more we can be aware of them, the more we can stay centered and grounded. And when you tune into the energy of the day, and I don't have my book in front of me or I'd read one, but maybe you can, but the more we can, and that's because I usually do, but I have all my copies at work because I sell them through work.
But
But
you're snowed in.
I'm
But you're in
snowed
the right
in.
place at the right time,
I
because
am.
I have the book.
And you have it. Um, but the more we can just tune in and realize, and it's a little bit like working with team members, or if you have kids, like sometimes there's just off days, or sometimes you're just really in the flow, and you may or may not know really why. Like, not every single thing do we have to dissect the reason behind it all. Like, oh my gosh, I stubbed my toe. Does that mean I'm going too fast? Am I going too slow? Like, we can go down all those mind gymnastics, or we can just say, dang, I stubbed my toe. Let me take a breath. Let me get recentered and then go on with our day again, right? But there is value in just reflecting and acknowledging that different energies can help us stay centered as we move throughout the day. So that's how I like to talk about it. And also to journal on it, to make notes, to color. I used to do a lot of coloring, a lot of art. It's just another way to journal. It's just another form of journaling and getting ideas out of your head. And so there's quite a bit of that in the book as well.
I love it. So I have open page 100, week two,
Nice.
week two, day 7, the energy of the day. Today, pay attention to all of the different elements and influences around you, besides friends and family and work. And after 28 days, you can predict your energy, moods, and feelings and use them to your benefit.
Yeah.
And I don't know what day I was in when my situation happened, but I did pay attention to all the things that were around me. I was in an emotional state, but I was very careful about being my own emotional boss. And that comes with me on this ever evolving journey of improving my emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Because, as a woman, we are often portrayed as an angry woman, right? We just flip and we just go off the deep end. But if you,
Often with good reason, I must say.
yes, yes, but others will turn that into a negative.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of times it's about taking that moment, that deep breath to check your own emotions, being alert to the emotions of others, because sometimes people are going off the deep end and it's directed to you, but it's not about you.
Right. Yeah. So true. So wise. So wise.
Why is that 51, right?
Yeah, you got this.
Well, but you know what? It's that constant growth journey and be in alignment with my purpose.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I wasn't in alignment with my purpose. And so the reflection, the intention, the creative expression, what I've been experiencing is what you've coined in the book. And this happened before I even met you. So it was confirmation that it was meant to be.
Nice. Nice. Thank you for that.
You know what? And I also love the pictures, right? Because
Yeah.
even
They're
though
very kind of cosmic.
they are. And I will tell you some of the things I had to look up and say, what does she mean by this? Because it was a concept that I hadn't heard before, which was fine for me because I'm in this constant state of learning. So if it
Right.
was something that I didn't know, I was like, oh, I learned something new.
Yeah. Yeah. I talk about a lot of tools in there. Some may be new to some people. And again, they're just tools.
Yes.
Get to
And
choose which ones you want. It's like your own kitchen. You get to choose which tools you want in your kitchen.
yes, I think a lot of times we are taught to just focus on the one set of tools, whether it's, I'll just use a perfect example. I grew up in the Black church, right? And it was like, just turn it over to Jesus and he's going to make it all right. Okay. I do believe in the power of prayer and my faith, but those are not the only tools that are in my tool belt.
Right.
And I think that that's a limited mindset that really holds people back. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to be open to different tools and techniques. And one of the that you talk in the book, one of my favorites, I call it brain dumping. In the
Mm-hmm.
book, you call it releasing the mind from clutter. Why
Yeah.
is releasing the mind from the clutter so important?
Oh, so I'm going to give you an example because I work with authors so much who get stuck, who feel like they don't know what to write next. And what happens is we wake up these days, and you're doing the social media thing, which is interesting. we wake up these days with so much in our mind. We're on social media. Even if we don't watch the news, even if we don't watch TV, you can't go out in the world without hearing other people's phones, TVs on somewhere. Restaurants have TVs on all the time now. Um, and so our brains get it bombarded with all the noise, all the FOMO, what our friends are doing, what our friends' kids are doing, and why aren't my kids doing that? And all the things, right? And then when we go down to write, it's no wonder we feel like we're stuck because our brain is full of all this noise. It's just noise. But that's true for any creation, any creativity, or even if you work in corporate, if you're trying to think outside the box, you can't do it if your brain is cluttered. So Julia Cameron is a marvel at this. She wrote The Artist's Way. She's like the go-to gold standard for this. She talks about writing 3 pages longhand every morning. What I talk about is you just start writing either on the computer, but if you can with a pen and you write on paper and you write down everything. Oh, I got to get bread. Okay, have a separate list, your to-do list or your shopping list over here, and just write it down. Bread, eggs, flour, and then go back to your journal and go back to your mind dump. Once you get rid of all that, your brain can rest because it knows you're paying attention. Our brain gets so afraid we're going to forget the bread that once you write it down, the brain can say, okay, I can release that thought now and see what's underneath it, see what's next, see what creativity might want to bubble up, or see what new thought what might want to bubble up. My mom used to say, my brain's too full, don't tell me anything more, right? And I used to laugh at her, your brain can't be full. And now I get it. Like it feels like our brains are just so full. And the way to release that is just to write it down. Your brain will go, ah, thank you. It's an outlet. It's like exercise. It's an outlet to release all the thoughts, how jealous you are of your cousin's daughter, even though we know we're not supposed to be jealous. We're supposed to be like supportive. Just write it down. These are your private thoughts. You have them. Don't be afraid of them. And what you'll find is it does get rid of all the brain clutter, and new thoughts will come up that will surprise you what you have inside of yourself.
Wow. So I will tell you that I've only written one book. Well, one,
I
let's
see it there. It looks
yeah,
amazing. Great
one
cover.
one non-medical book. And I struggled with a couple of things. Number one, once I had the cover, someone said, well, people won't buy books if your picture is on the cover, right?
That's one theory.
Well, yes, one thought, one school of thought, right?
Right. Yep.
But ultimately, I decided that I was going to keep myself on the cover because the name of the book is Grow with Me, and me is on the cover, right? And so I have discovered that you can't get caught up in the mess when you're focusing on your message. And so when I wrote my book, I did not um, handwrite it.
Mhm.
What I did, don't judge me,
Oh, there's more than one way. I am not
but not just you, maybe somebody that's listening.
right.
I turned on Zoom
Uh-huh.
without my camera on, and I spoke and cried and screamed and put all of that energy on the tape,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And once I was done, it was like this huge burden was lifted off of me. It was amazing. So
Right.
that was one way. Another way, again, don't judge me. I'm in the tub and these thoughts come to mind. So I opened up Microsoft Word on my iPad. So I was watching TV while in the tub, but I opened up Microsoft Word. I clicked the microphone button and I start to talk and cry again. And
Mhm.
Microsoft Word is capturing it. And I do this quite frequently, not for purposes of writing the book, but for purposes of just shedding the weight that's holding me back.
Right.
And once I dump all of that information out my brain, I literally can start my day with ease because now that's not weighing on me. Um, this morning, I was in the shower and I was reciting some thoughts from a presentation that I'm going to do soon. And my husband said, "Are you talking to yourself?" I'm like, "No, I was just imagining myself on the stage
Yeah.
giving the speech, and I was giving the speech. And I've been quite frequently giving this same speech, the same setting, that I know that it is the beginning of something big, and all I'm doing is getting prepared.
Yeah.
But I'm preparing, I'm reflecting, I'm journaling. Oh my gosh, I have so many journals that I am just writing things down. Recently I had some kids come over and I said, all the pages that have words on them, pull them out this book, right? And or books. And then they put them in a stack. And I just sat down and started to read and reflect. And I said, "Hey, girl, you did that, right?" Something
Yeah.
that I wrote 5 years ago that I was able to manifest because I got in alignment with my purpose. And I was out of alignment for a while because I allowed life and things, being the parent of a special needs daughter. It's like she's 32. At what point do you get over the trauma behind that? But I had to write about it and talk about it. And so I think when you get in alignment with your purpose, and a guide is a perfect way, right? Because the work has been done for you. All you have to do is get a cup of your favorite beverage, like for me is hot tea, and just sit down and do the work. Do the work. I'm going to read one sentence. I'm not going to read the whole book because we can't give away the whole book. So you aren't confused about who you are. Believe me, you aren't. You know your purpose and you understand your brilliance. You just got to tap in. I'm not going to read anymore because you need to buy your book, folks.
Thank you.
When I tapped in, it was scary and exciting all at the same time. So, what are you hoping that individuals who are reading this book walk away with? Now, on the back, you talk about how are you responding to the changing world? That's a loaded question because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
some people have decided to just check out.
Yeah. It's it's not an easy time to be alive on the planet. So it's never an easy time, right? It's just different challenges. So, the biggest, most wonderful esoteric dream is that we all do what we're here to do, get out of our triggers and our trauma, lead with faith and light, stay in purpose, and heal the world, the planet, and humanity. Um, we've got conflict in the Middle East, conflict with Russia. No matter where you stand on these issues, they've been going on for generations. It's time to just stop it. I feel like Rodney King, just stop it. Why can't we get along? Um, and my small part is to help people tap into who they are and help lead with light, lead yourself first. You've got to understand who you are so you can lead yourself and not be scared of what you're here to do.
I love that. I'm just going to give you a fair warning because I have lots of speaking engagements coming up. I'm going to be dropping your name in every presentation that I give because this is the foundation. You have to know your purpose. You have to get in alignment with your purpose because if not, you're going to continue to be miserable. And there's so many, that saying, hurt people hurt people.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
because you're out of alignment.
Right.
And getting back in alignment is not like, for example, I work in the medical field from an administrative perspective or a leadership perspective. And when a patient has a fracture, there are several surgical options, but depending on the type of the fracture, they can just reduce it and put it back in alignment, right?
Right.
But even that process, when they reduce the fracture, put it back in alignment, they put a cast on it to set it for 6 weeks. Now, 6 weeks is more than 28 days, but
Right.
the point is you need time to start that alignment process. But first, you got to start on the journey and
Yeah.
recognize that you need to get in alignment, and you probably need to reset every few months because sometimes you get off alignment
Oh
and
my gosh,
back in.
so easy. So easy to get off, right? And get triggered. I mean, I've got, more than a decade on you, and I still am growing and learning. And the older I get, the less I know. And every morning I wake up and say, how can I serve today? How can I be in alignment? How can I stay on purpose today? And so it's constant. And that's not exhausting, though. It's inspirational to me to bring these questions to myself.
It is. And to me, it's a form of gratitude. Like I wake up in the morning and open my eyes. Thank you for another day. Like I
Yeah.
actually made it. And one of the things that's an inspiration for me, 2024, my grandfather, who is still alive at the time of us having this conversation, he is 103 years old.
Wow. Woohoo.
Yes. So one of my driving forces in life is I want to be like granddaddy. I want to be 103 and still telling everybody that I meet that I love you, I appreciate you, because I know as the growth motivator, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to encourage others. But in order for me to encourage others, I gotta be in alignment with my purpose. I have to know who I am. I have to continue to work on me. I know I'm not perfect. I think sometimes people look at you and they think you have it all together. They don't know you're in the car crying, you're in the tub crying, you're in the bed crying, right? They don't see the things outside of when they see you. Today you see me in this blue dress. In the book you talk about colors, right? So today
Right.
I have on this blue dress. And honestly, I have on this blue dress because I'm like, what was the last color that you wore in the last interview? You don't want to have on the same color every time. So I'm just switching up the colors and asking my husband, like, how does this dress look? Right. And so I'm going through that process because I want there to be a difference. But I am walking with purpose. I'm walking with intent because I know where I'm heading and I've forgotten, for the most part, what has happened in the past, right? Because you wouldn't be human if you don't remember some of the things, right? When I was in fifth grade.
Oh yeah, we all have stories.
Yes. So speaking of, that was a perfect segue. That's why I love this authentic conversation. What if there's someone out there that says, I'm ready to write a book? How
Yeah.
can what's the first step for them getting in touch with you,
Yeah.
working with you? Tell us about that.
The easiest way is to come to the authorpath.com, PATH, theauthorpath.com. I teach a free masterclass every month on Facebook and on Zoom. I have free downloads. I've got an assessment there. You can message me, you can text me, and we'll see, if I can help.
I love it. I love it. So one of the things that I like to share with everyone, because someone would say, wait a minute, you had someone on your podcast that was a publisher and an author. Don't you have a publisher? There is someone for everyone.
Yeah.
And honestly, my publisher, I was kind of like stalking her page for like 10 years before
Yeah.
I ever reached out to her. And when we got together, the purpose and alignment were perfect, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that it's okay to have lots of resources that are available to you because you just never know.
You
Now
just never know. Right.
I feel bad because I'm like, you do a master class every month.
Yeah.
I got to get myself together because I need to start doing master classes
Yeah. Yeah.
on my list for 2024.
There you go. Good.
Well, listen, it has been such an honor, a privilege to speak with you today. Author, Purpose, the Alignment Guide. Get the physical copy, guys. You need one that you can write and highlight in because it's going to be a journey. And I believe that there will be parts where you may cry, and it's okay because now you're showing that the alignment process has started, right? Because you're shedding that tear. But as you go from one page to the next, and you can write in the book, even if you don't understand all the things, stay on the journey so that you can go be open to the 28 days. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Be open to the 28 days, and then you'll realize it's bigger than that. But this will be the foundation that you need to get going. So thank you so much. Any final words before we say goodbye?
No, I think if it's in your heart, it's yours to do. If you have an inkling that you are here to do something more, or you can step into yourself in a bigger way, that this is a great first step.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank
Well, listen,
you. It's been a
everyone,
pleasure.
another episode of 52 Amazing Authors, 52 Weeks. I'll see you next time.